Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Hawkins.
And get ready for time jump! And we did it. We're back, guys. I think we solved it. Any problems we might have been having, we've now solved thanks to our time travel escapades. Was a good week back in the pasture. Yeah, those enchiladas were real good, if you remember.
Yeah, absolutely. So were the chimichangas.
Yeah. So we're talking about today then, Stuart.
We were talking about episode 3 of Picard, Assimilation.
So what do you think of season 2, episode 3, Stuart? Has the winning streak continued?
It has. It had very much a Star Trek 4 vibe to it. It's the typical, we're back in the past, we got to get used to things kind of episode. I wouldn't call it a filler episode. Very fastly paced, very good, progressing the story along pretty quickly, I think. There were a few spots where it's kind of like we could move this along a little bit quicker, but they're establishing a few things, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, actually. But it is a piece of a puzzle, unfortunately, and that doesn't feel like an episode. So, that's kind of my thought on it. What about you?
It's the weakest of the three, but that isn't in itself a criticism. That's just a comment. It's good. I liked a lot of the things they did and avoided some of the potholes of the time travel stuff. I really enjoyed the Rios stuff, actually. I was kind of wondering, am I going to be engaged with his past stuff? But as soon as he got hit on the way down, that I thought was a great twist. And then just, seeing him live in this world, like that got me really interested in what they might do with that. How they're going to get these pieces on the game, on the chessboard of the trailers. So I actually liked that more than I thought. Which is the Picard stuff, I liked a lot of it, although it felt like Patrick wasn't in the episode very much. His personal presence felt like he was maybe not feeling as well that week. Or they just thought, well, this is called Star Trek Picard, but we actually want to focus on our 8 other people, not Picard. So he felt like a massive background character, kind of like a Harry Kim level on an average Voyager episode of like a amount of... Like, he was there for little bits, but, you know what I mean? It was very un-Picard focused. That said, though, he still had a good presence. He stood up for his decisions as captain or as admiral, and so he wasn't taking a backseat as the Picard character, just as a, well, we're only going to shoot Patrick for a few days because he's 80, whatever. That's how it felt to me, but not bad. Just he still kept his own okay. Jurati, they did a good job. The Queen did a good job. I wish the Lesserina set was a better set, because they'd obviously locked into that, and spending 35 minutes in a flashing, dark, boring set doesn't do them any favors, and it certainly gets a bit. My eyes are glassing over with. The set's not even there. I'm just focused on performances because it's so uninteresting as a set. But that's just a pure season 1 holdover. If it was a better set, it would have been more interesting. In fact, just walking through the Voyager corridors is nice because they're nice corridors. Being in these dark sets isn't innately nice, So those sorts of things hold it down, but the story sort of requires those things, which at least they use logically. We are going to stay on the ship. We are going to X, Y, and Z. So it's a logical thing. It just...
Yeah, I agree. I think Jurati and the Borg Queen were the highlights of the episode, for sure. I knew it was going to kind of come down to this, where it's like, possibly, but the dialogue in the last episode with the Queen talking to Jurati, that she's going to feel that connection kind of thing
it's not
with
subtle.
The Borg, because... No, it's not at all. But that's fine. And when... The other thing that I'm thinking, too, is when Elnar died, that the Borg Queen might be able to bring him back at some point with nanoprobes. So maybe it's Elnar on the Stargazer.
I did call he's going to die, though, because it made thematic sense.
You did.
As a character, let's be honest, what does a sword-wielding ninja play role-wise in Star Trek? He was a little bit in season 1 and then just had to kill people in essence, and then he kind of played his role fully in season 2. And they can kill him because he'll be in the timeline when they solve it. So it's a good... Why give a redundant character when COVID rules make everyone difficult to film? He's just not relevant and important, but it's still... And it's amazing how I bought the Raffi and Elnor relationship, the bond, after 3 episodes of very limited screen time, more than any of the Picard and Raffi in season 1, or Picard and Elnor in season 1. Those things felt like absolutely forced shoehorn. And 3 episodes they made a better job of, like, surrogate son, I'm proud of you. Do you know what I mean? Like that's writing.
Although I know emotions do stupid things to people, but I think her anger was a little bit misdirected at after his death, though. taking it out on Picard and Rios and everybody. I get it. People get angry, and there's no power to keep him alive, and it's all going to the Borg Queen, and why to keep her alive? Well, it's kind of important to keep her alive at this point. So, I get it, but it's realistic writing anyway, because that's how people are, and it very quickly fades off. I thought it was going to be held on to, and it might still come up again, but it's very quickly like, all right, let's get this done. Because now her vibe is she wants to fix everything so that he can be back alive.
She was back to quips as soon as she was out of the La Serena. No, I agree.
I was worried she was going to be just mopey the whole time, and she's very quickly gone back to getting the job done, which is good. So
yeah, it's of all the characters, she has the least emotional control. She was literally a drug addict in season 1, and that is not really a thing in the Trek universe except on the absolute fringes, etc. So
wait till she gets her hands on some 2024 drugs, then she'll be hooked.
Which, hey, Rio seeing food, real food. I mean, I've talked about some fan films as well. Real is better than replicated, and that was a lovely that's they understand the universe sort of moment of fully real. Because you never had that potentially, especially real processed food. I think it was peanut butter. You would take out those artificial sugars in the future, be healthy, but wouldn't have the same taste. So raw, bad for you, good food hasn't really experienced, except alien food on alien planets. But I thought Raffi was good. Quick outburst, definitely. Yes, Eleanor's death is horrible, especially for her. I get that, but the Borg Queen's obviously more important. No question about it. If you want to see him again, you need to go back into the present. And if there's another problem, you need to do any time travel, she's more important. Eleanor is going to do nothing, Borg Queen save the universe. Or destroy the universe, Borg Queen as well. But yes, it was a outburst, which then shifted to Q, so the anger shifted from I'm angry at you for Borg Queen and you and Q, which just shows that she's angry, not angry at anything, and particularly just shifting anger, which I thought was smart, because we're only here because of you and Q. But Picard held his own. He didn't take that like a season 1 Picard, who stood his ground, so no, you're angry, we'll have a conversation. And even Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9, in those scenes, her posture is 7 of 9-y. I wonder if they asked her to rewatch some Voyager to kind of reharness how she was opposed to season 1, because she was really in the zone for a lot of this episode, compared to season 1 where she felt almost no time in the zone. Yeah, yeah. It was a good ride, if not quite as exciting, but how could it be?
Well, I like the idea where she looked in the mirror and was like good without these implants. And then she kind of had that relaxed vibe, as Raffi said. You're never relaxed, especially in the situation they're in. But I think she just feels confident. And then to talk to the security guard and, tell him that, Kevin's cooler than him. But Kevin's not cooler than him. That was a funny scene. That was really great. And it's like people in the present or the future don't like me. He liked me. Well, because you don't have the Borg implants. She's always got that prejudice against her whenever she talks to anybody in the future, I guess. Because they kind of hinted at that with the walk down the corridor in episode 1 with Picard about people uneasy around her. So I'm really liking the way the writing's kind of gelling and remembering what was said. There's not going to be these loose ends, these plot threads that kind of go nowhere.
It's a very sharp, even I honestly would be surprised if Rio stays with this lady in the past, based on this. Like, he might find that more interesting. That's already I buy that enough as a concept. They might go into that. Just their initial chemistry, That's a whole side conversation. No, and I agree. I know those fans are more surface level in their breakdown of Star Trek. We do also do a lot of breakdowns, so we have to think on multiple levels. The 7 of 9 stuff, a fan who is more surface level might say, but she's been too emotionful as 7, as Annika, which is a fair point on the surface level. However, the way they played it, I'm able to be 100% okay with it, because she has lived her entire life with mechanical devices inside her body, inside her brain, inside her nervous system, feeling the world through the enhanced senses. All of that is gone. She's now in a fully human body with fully human emotions, endorphins, no enhancement. And so now she's out of the 1 day of stress situation. Her emotions are able to be fully human. So she's seeing this and reacting with her mind says she's Borg, but her body is not. Her body's completely not Borg. So she's now suddenly able to experience life as a human, true human. And so all of a sudden these barriers are going down. That I thought was great. I hope they address that. It's just they saying, "I've not got this. This is no longer part of me physically." Because the Borg suppress emotions. There's probably an element of that still. Why she's so stilted. So all these things. So I thought that was very clever. Assuming they sort of hang a lantern on why she can act radically different, but because in this context it's fine.
We did get a small Q appearance, very small, and I from the way it played out, I assume no one else saw him. It was a very quick little, this is all you know, this is all, and it's about the battle at the time, and
battle.
It's kind of an odd choice. I mean, I love how they take out one ship with a photon torpedo, and then the Queen says, screw that, and 2 green torpedoes, Borgified, to take out the 2 other ships. That was a very quick, I don't even know if they spent 10 minutes in the alternate reality like we said they would. It was probably like closer to 5. Yeah, that opening bit was pretty interesting, even the whole, what's my full name? When Seven tried to be like, you're interrupting an important undercover mission. No, that was very quickly done and very well done. I think I'm kind of a shame that he got killed, though. He really is kind of an innocent in it all, really, when you think about it, but so are all the security guards, I guess.
And also a slight canon problem of, if all those guns are set on disintegrate by default, why did Eleanor not get disintegrated?
Yeah.
Just saying, don't disintegrate. But I guess I don't want to deal with bodies later. Yeah, this episode obviously comes off another good episode. I was let down by the first pre-task sequence because it's a very it's not a battle. It's a few pew-pews. It's not a battle. I was excited by the fact they were held hostage. I thought that was going to lead to a twist, and they get out of it effortlessly. Even the warp seems a little bit easy, but it's easy in Star Trek 3 as well. So I would have liked a bit more of a fantastical heads in white space sort of moment. We vaguely got that, a very minor. I would like something else there.
I wanted some quotes from the rest of the season, like we got in Star Trek 4, where you heard dialogue that hasn't happened yet as an indication.
And then see lilies on a lake. Kind of like we did in the Rushes, I think was the one. It's been 3. 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a bad start, but if you watch it back to back, it'll just be continuing and then it's done. We have to get out of the situation quickly, boom. But I don't buy for a second that one aft torpedo can destroy a Nova or whatever steamer it was. I mean, and Petra explosions, there was no shields. This is a freighter, a military freighter. It was not a good battle, but it was like, well, we have to just get them out of the situation. So it was bad, for my opinion. But went by so quick, whatever,
I really wish they would have disabled 2, and then the last one entered warp right behind them, and you see it like skimming and just misses the thing and they disappear. That would have been better.
I mean, in general, New Trek is not good at space shots, as in for sort of context of lighting, of pacing. The season finale of Discovery had some nice ones, but they're allowed to linger more. We ignored the Rios battle in the second episode because it was so it was just it was a non-element. Episode 1 was better, but it was just shots of a static ship looking at a nebula like that was an anomaly. So, but normally they can't do good space shots. They just haven't got the right team, I guess. And this episode was no different. But they go by so quick, But certainly they do zip through a little bit the story. So I can't imagine they'll spend too many episodes there, which we kind of guessed. It does feel like a very big chunk of that story was told. I get the sense a full one and then half of the third episode. I guess a 5th one. I think they'll find the Watcher next week, and then they'll be out of the time by that 5th one, which I'm fine with. I think that pacing works well. It's definitely, even though not a lot happened in a sense, each character's little journey had some distinctly strong moments, so it felt like stuff happened. So I thought that was a well done sort of trick in a sense. Oh, and it's funny. I was wondering the whole time. Are they going to actually create a 2024 of our world or 2024 of Star Trek world? Because we are not at all alike. We've already had the Third Eugenics War, Third World War, etc. in their timeline. So how much LA is LA versus Star Trek LA? For the most part, I was happy with it. But then they said Rick and Morty, and so that means that Rick and Morty's creator survived the Eugenics War and still made Rick and Morty. So that's now canon in Star Trek.
Well, America was untouched by the eugenics wars, really. That was all over in
you say
Middle East and stuff.
But you've seen how what's happening currently in international waters, the oil prices changed all of the world's economies. And if that gets even worse, I'm pretty sure, all of the infrastructure of the United States would change in the 90s and 80s if that was all happening based on oil prices and distribution of knowledge and, Tesla's not being made if, somewhere across the world something's being destroyed. So the world is not going to look anything like it did. But we know Rick and Morty survived the eugenics war that was made, which I find funny.
Like I said, the interesting part for me was the Borg Queen and Jurati kind of swapping. Whose hand is that? My hand. My. That was kind of funny. I don't know if I really understand how, what exactly happened there. She restored the Borg Queen back. The Borg Queen was exploring her brain. She got out the coordinates, and thinks she knows what the time divergence thing is, but is not really 100% sure. I like that. I like that she kind of turned the tables on the Borg Queen a little bit. That was probably the best part of the episode for me, honestly. The Rios stuff was all right, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was all roughly on the same level. Kind of shifted interest between the segments, as it was very fluid as a thing. I mean, the Queen, she did a good job acting. I thought she channeled a lot of Alice Krieg. I thought a lot of nice nuance. Definitely, I mean, she's a very human character when you break it down. She's came across. Although wonderful job including all the first contact stings of Borg Queen music, because that's pretty definitive. It's her theme.
Those were great, and
it added a lot of tension to those moments. I don't mind the Jurati's obviously going to be Borgified. La la la. There's going to be some. That's her story for the season. I wasn't a fan early on as a concept because there's no linkage to you need to know context, but she was mentally assimilated, mentally started to be assimilated. It's not nanoprobe based, just mental impulses based, which is kind of weird, but harder to beat nanoprobes than just brain stuff, so it made it more nebulous, which I thought was interesting. But they've really highlighted this year that Jurati cannot deal with humans.
Yep.
CGI
people are the problem.
CGI cat, failed Rios connection.
And synthetics. She gets along with synthetics.
Yep.
She builds them.
Exactly. And in a lab in the alternate universe, still no one. And she talked about being alone. In season 1, she wasn't as big a deal, but she killed Maddox. She obviously found him, and he was also a recluse, etc. to some extent. So I'm okay with her mind working in such a way that is closer to a synthetic artificialness. There's something about her brain that lets her be very good at knowing what machines are like and how to build them and think about them, which we've kind of implied. And so her to be more easily manipulated because her brain works closer, I'm okay with. They've kind of done enough groundwork to lead to that. Do I want to see her be fully Borgified? I don't know. Will she be the Borg Queen in the future? I don't know. It seems odd, the Borg Queen. The Borg Queen is an entity of majestic power. To think any human can outthink it is a bit daft in the literal brain versus brain. And so clearly there's even though Jurati might have got one up on her and taken the information out, the Borg Queen is now in her brain, is slowly converting her neural cells. That's obviously happening. And as long as that's there, then the Queen let that happen. Yeah.
And the reference to, you've done something dangerous, you've impressed me.
Yeah.
Which means the Borg Queen's going to want to assimilate her.
Mm-hmm. Her knowledge, her expertise, her thought process.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the writing's been on the wall since the last episode, and yeah, like you said, it wasn't subtle.
But they're certainly manoeuvring this piece add a lot more credence to it being a potential. Do we want to see a fully Borgified? No. Why would you? Do I want to see a hybrid Borg? We'll see where they go. They've been smart so far in writing, and at the end of the day, they were given these 7 characters, and they said we have to use them. What do we do with them? Kill Eldor. That's one solution. Complete change. So I think as all ways of doing it, it's interesting, and certainly, the amount of Locutus stuff was good, dialogue wise. Picard was strong dealing with Borg Queen. That was so freaking important. 7 as well. They felt like themselves. It wasn't season 1 them. They really learned from those mistakes of just how to deal with it. That was great. I kind of wished and assumed, actually, a bit of a failed hope, I know, but I kind of assumed to give Picard something actually to do in the episode, so an actual storyline. He didn't really have one per se, right? He was a secondary. If he had linked with the Borg Queen's consciousness, and then, now you're in a Borg cube set, and he's having to walk through, and it's very like Voyager with all those weird angles and lighting, and then the Queen's there, and he has to interact with her while Jurati's doing the tech stuff. Like, that would have been really cool. Maybe even Patrick in some level of makeup, or even a stunt man with deep fake or something to kind of hide it. I was expecting that kind of thing, go into a mind palace and be on a Borg cube and be like, damn, this is a really good Borg cube. Because if you're only building one part of a corridor, you can build it identical to Voyager or TNG and look really good. You don't have to build these big elaborate sets that we saw in or even green screen would be fine. So I kind of was coming waiting for that moment to have a really nice meaty Queen and Locutus moment. Sort of to Jurati, obviously. Missed opportunity, and I think it would have also helped we're just in the ship so much because it's not an interesting ship set. It's a very, very poor ship set, relatively speaking, to the other sets. So that would have been nice to break that up. Even if it'd been like a waking nightmare. Like maybe the ship got like, so as soon as, assuming that Picard got connected for a second, he blinks, the ship becomes green with lights, and you hear the there's like an alcoves along the walls now, and he's walking through the La Serena set, but it's now fully Borgified. Seeing it as if it was a Borg ship could have been really, really impressive as well, you know? And even have Q pop into that and say, "Oh, look, don't get lost here, Picard. This is your one of your nightmares." That could have been really, really, really good. But
I didn't understand the bargaining posture of the Queen. Like, give me your ship for the information. Like, you're already linked into the ship. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Push the Borg Queen kind of simulate the ship button. I don't know. I just thought that was a little odd.
And not to even use nanoprobes at any point is a bit odd. Because the nanoprobes is what converts the actual ship. Yes, you can maybe convert the software, but nanoprobes is the hardwired stuff. Yeah, a bit weird. It felt like more of a ploy than a position, because really surely has some level. I mean, she took control in the first scene, so she could have control.
Yep. So
the legs made sense, though, because she can't really do much physically without legs.
Yes. Yeah,
but yeah,
which made me think of Elnor immediately. Like, there's a dead body down in the sick bay. And
his blood is green. You love green.
Green. It is St. Patrick's Day, the day we're filming this as well, because we're filming it on Thursday. Happy St. Patty's Day. It's green. Green. I don't have anything green.
Green. Yeah. So basically, Stuart, I like this one. It was not as good as the last two, but it felt like a nice journey, and they didn't fall into missteps I thought they were going to, but it certainly wasn't as engaging as it could have been. But still good though. I still enjoyed it. And I'm liking Raffi more, I'm liking Seven more, I'm liking Rios more, I'm liking Jurati more. That's impressive.
Even last episode I really liked Elnor, the way he was reacting to things. They've really stepped up their game as far as writing, so yes, and character development.
And not just that, but season 1 was the epitome of we're going to bring Picard all the way down and Seven all the way down to make everyone else look better. Now, Picard is still strong, going to raise everyone else up around him. Like, that's called writing quality. Good job.
And on that note, it's a good place to leave it, I think. Comment down below what you thought about it. By all means, check out our live tonight where we talk about the full breakdown and discussion. Should be a fun one.
It's definitely a scene-by-scene sort of episode. Lots of small things happen.
Yeah. So if you can join us for that, please do. But please, in the meantime, comment down below if you can't make it to the live. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our breakdown content or any of our lives. And please join us for those, because we have a fantastic community and we want you to be a part of it.
Yes, and if you can support us directly, we do appreciate that by channel memberships on YouTube. The same as Patreon, but not on Patreon. Or Patreon, because it's the same as Patreon, but on Patreon, depending. Both monthly. Both whatever you want to give makes a big difference to the channel. Thank you in advance. Or join the lives and super chat if you can. It's a direct communication way. We read out every single super chat. We promise you that, and we're very proud of that, because you want to talk to us, you can talk to us, and you can often change the conversation. If you want to say, "Oh, I hated this Borg Queen," please discuss. We will talk about that and have the hundreds of people watching have a discussion. We love it, and it helps us. It keeps us going. So thanks in advance.
Mm-hmm. So until next time, guys. He is Commander Cocky.
He's Captain Foley.
I'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.